What's up, Flash Flyers? David here. Today I'm going to give you the ultimate guide to transferable points. I'm going to go over the main transferable points, or also known as flexible currencies, Amex, Chase, Citi, and Capital One. And then I'm going to give you a strategy of how to know when to use points through transfer partners compared to through the portal. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video to see what the best strategy is. First, let's start with the points. Before I get into the first set of points, let's just first talk about what transferable points are. So there are airline miles, which you could use with airlines, hotel points, which you can use with hotel points. There are travel points, which you could just kind of redeem for travel. Then there are transferable points, which you could transfer to various hotel programs, airlines. Now the key is to know when to transfer those points, and most importantly, which program to transfer to. As we go through these different transferable points, it'll kind of make sense what transferable points really are. So let's first start with American Express membership reward points. One of the most popular. Also, they have the most transfer partners. According to the points guy, American Express membership reward points are valued at 2 cents per point. So if you have 10,000 membership reward points, it would be equal to $200. But that's only if you use them the right way. So here's a list of all the different transfer partners. For the most part, they are a 1-to-1 ratio, but there are some noted in this that are not a 1-to-1 transfer ratio. It's completely free to transfer your membership reward points to these airlines. The only thing is, for American-based airlines, there is an excise fee of 0.06 cents per point when you transfer it over. Besides that, all the international ones, it's completely free. And there are 3 hotel programs you can transfer to, also at a 1-to-1 ratio: Choice Privileges, Hilton Honors, and Marriott Bonvoy. One of the cool things about American Express membership reward points is that they offer a lot of different transfer bonuses. So this is a great way to take advantage when they transfer it to Aeroplan, Avianca, British Airways, Virgin Atlantic. They could give a 30 to 40% transfer bonus. So that's a great way to get more miles or points out of your transfer. Rather than that 1-to-1 ratio, you could get more out of it. And some of the credit cards that allow you to transfer your MR points over to transfer partners would be the American Express Platinum Card, American Express Business Platinum Card, American Express Gold Card, the Business Gold Card, and the Blue Business Plus Card. So with these cards, whatever points you have for American Express membership reward points, you can transfer it over to all the transfer partners that I mentioned before. If you don't have one of these cards and you're still earning membership reward points, you won't be able to transfer to transfer partners. So it's really important to know the difference there. Also, if you're wondering, I am in Hawaii right now. I'm in Oahu. I got the whole lei thing going on. I think this is my wife and daughter, 2 daughters over here. So yeah, we're currently in Oahu. We've been here for about a week, and tomorrow we're going to Hawaii. So if you've been to Hawaii before, it's beautiful. I love it here. Comment down below if you've ever been to Hawaii. Next up is Chase Ultimate Reward Points. Still a really valuable transferable point system. So there are only 3 cards that will transfer to transfer partners, transfer the Ultimate Reward Points to transfer partners. Also, there's not as many transfer partners as Amex, but still, it doesn't mean that it's not as valuable as Amex. It's just a little different. Amex may have more transfer partners, but to be honest, not all those transfer partners are as valuable as others. Some I don't recommend transferring to at all, which I'll cover more in depth in a future video. I just kind of want to give a general overview of all the programs here. Here are all of the airlines that you could transfer your points to. So one of the newest ones is Emirates Skywards, which came as of August 2019, so that's another good way to get a lot of value. And as you can see, there's not as many transfer partners as Amex, but I still think there's a lot of good value here. And the best transfer partner, in my opinion, is Hyatt. So there's also 3 hotel transfer partners you got. You got World of Hyatt, you got IHG, and Marriott Bonvoy. So another thing, Chase doesn't offer as many transfer bonuses as Amex. Actually, just did its first transfer bonus ever, and it was a 30% transfer bonus to British Airways. So that was kind of a big deal. Hopefully they do more of those in the future. Just because there's a transfer bonus doesn't mean you want to transfer those points over. You want to make sure that, well, as with all these transfer partners that I'm talking about, that there's availability first before you transfer, because once you transfer, you can't transfer them back. So you want to make sure that there's availability first before transferring. And as I mentioned later on in the video, I'll teach you how to find the best availability with all of the transfer partners. So the 3 cards that transfer your Chase Ultimate Reward points over to all the transfer partners mentioned is the Chase Sapphire Preferred, Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Chase Ink Preferred. All these have annual fees. There are other Chase Ultimate Reward earning cards, such as the Chase Freedom Unlimited, as well as the business cards, the Chase Ink Cash and Chase Ink Unlimited. So you could, if you have the no annual fee cards that I mentioned, you could transfer them over to the annual fee cards, which are the ones that have the power to transfer to partners. And that's a great way you could just pay 1 annual fee. I did a video on the Chase Trifecta. You could click the link above if I remember to put it there, or it'll be down in the description below. If I forget, just put it in the comments. But that's a good way to take advantage of 1 annual fee and kind of cover all of your spending categories. One of the things I like about Chase transfer partners is that they're all a 1-to-1 ratio, so you don't have to worry about losing out on some points with poor transfer ratios. It's all completely free to transfer to. You don't have to pay an excise fee like Amex. And Chase in general, I think, is a little more user-friendly when it comes to transfer partners. Next up is Citi Thank You Points. So Citi doesn't get as much attention as Chase and Amex, although there are still really good transfer partners you could get. So here's a list of all the transfer partners. For the most part, they're a 1-to-1 ratio, unless stated otherwise. And Citi offers transfer bonuses more often than Chase, not as often as Amex though. So you could get, at the time of filming this, actually you could get a transfer bonus 30% to Virgin Atlantic, and they also have transfer bonuses to Avianca as well. Cards that earn Citi Thank You Points that you're allowed to transfer over to partners. That would be the Citi Premier and the Citi Prestige.
And the Citi Double Cash now has the option to transfer to partners as well.
And the next flexible currency would be Capital One. I saved the worst for last. So Capital One, like late 2018, decided to offer transfer partners. Reason why I think Capital One isn't as valuable as the other 3 that I mentioned is because of the really poor transfer ratio. So here's a list of all of the transfer partners, and the transfer ratio is a 2 to 1.5 ratio, unless stated otherwise here, such as Emirates and JetBlue and Singapore Airlines. Those are a 2 to 1 ratio, which is even worse. So it's very rare that you'll find a good enough deal to transfer your Capital One miles, venture miles or miles, over, even though they're points, they call them miles, but to transfer them over to partners, because you're taking a big hit on that transfer ratio. So usually the only time it makes sense to transfer Capital One over to partners is if you're going for premium seats, such as business class and first class, because in general, those are the transfer options where you're going to get the most cents per point value. Currently, there are 4 Capital One cards that'll transfer, allow you to transfer your venture miles or miles over to transfer partners. Is the Capital One Venture, Capital One Venture 1, Capital One Spark Miles for Business, and Capital One Spark Miles Select for Business. So these are the 4 cards that will allow you to transfer your venture miles or miles, Capital One miles, over to the transfer partners, and it is completely free. Now, I'm going to be honest, with Capital One, it probably makes more sense just to use those miles to at a 1 cent per point ratio to just redeem for travel, such as kind of like more obscure travel options like boutique hotels, trains, cruises, things you wouldn't normally use airline miles or hotel points for. All right, just had to switch the lighting because it is getting a little dark, so I got the light on me right now, not as nice of a view. But here, let me just give you a little panorama view of where I'm at in Hawaii, and then I'll tell you the best way to use the transfer partners with these programs. So now, most importantly, when should you transfer your points? Which transfer partner do you transfer to? This is the most important part of transfer partners in general. With me, with my channel, if you're new here, I talk about credit cards and travel points, so you can travel anywhere almost free. If that interests you, consider subscribing, as well as other channels and blogs. Everyone's always saying use transfer partners, but not necessarily giving the strategy to actually use transfer partners in the best way. So I think the best option is this. If you go to, there's two different options, one free, one paid. Let's say you have a destination in mind or a few different destinations. You could go to awardhacker.com and you could type in where you're flying to, and then just like you see on the screen. And then if you are thinking about going to a certain destination, but you only have a certain type of transferable points, such as Amex, Citi, Chase, Capital One, whichever ones you have. I'm not talking about Marriott Bonvoy in this because that's even more of a bad transfer ratio than Capital One. So we'll leave that for another video. Once you go to awardhacker.com and you type in where you want to go, it'll give the options of how many points it'll cost to get to that destination, and you could select which transferable points you have. It'll let you know the best airline that you could choose that is a transfer partner. So the results that come up with Award Hacker aren't always 100% accurate. It'll give you the best, cheapest option you could have, but it doesn't show live award availability, such as the next option, which I'll share with you. So it kind of gives you a benchmark. From this point forward, if you see a good option for your transferable partner for the destination you want to go to, then you could actually go to that airline and search for award availability there. The second option would be Juicy Miles. So Juicy Miles is a paid service. I have a link down below that I give a review on the service as exactly how to use it. So when you go to Juicy Miles, you can actually see the award availability live. You can see if the seats are available or not, whether that's economy, business, or first class. You not only see the prices, the points prices, but you could also see the taxes and fuel surcharges for those certain routes. So from personally doing a lot of award bookings through the years, Juicy Miles is a game changer because it'll save you a lot of time having to check individually different airlines, trying to check through different airlines to see availability on partner airlines and different alliances. If you're new to this, Juicy Miles takes away a lot of the headaches, super simple to use, and it'll save you a lot of time. So once you see the points price that you're getting either through Award Hacker and then confirming with that airline, actually creating an account really fast and then checking the availability, or Juicy Miles and just seeing that award availability right there live, and you don't have to create an account with them to actually see the availability. Once you have that price in mind, then you compare it to, like, let's say with Chase Ultimate Reward Points, if you were to use it through the travel portal with the Chase Sapphire Preferred or Chase Ink Preferred, it's a 1.25 cents per point. If you're able to get more than 1.25 cents per point with transfer partners, then you use a transfer partner. If not, and I would say in general with transfer partners, maybe 20% of the time it makes sense to book it through the portal compared to actually transferring. But if there are good deals, good cash deals out there, it will reflect in the travel portals, such as Amex, Citi, Chase. So depending on which card you have and what cents per point value you're going to get through the travel portal, you'll compare that to the search results you get with the transfer partners. All right, so I'm losing sunlight here. I'm going to wrap up this video. If you want to learn more about the best transfer partners with Chase, Amex, Citi, Capital One, you could click this playlist over here. It goes through the 5 best transfer partners for those flexible currencies and transferable points. Or you could click this link down here, and I'll see you in the next video.